Welcome to the Immigrant Take with Jess and Jem, your weekly rendition of being an immigrant here in Van City, looking at different perspectives of what it means to be a part of this beautiful community. How you doing, Jess?
Oh, girl, I am good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Today we have Rudo here with us today. How you doing, Rudo?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. So we're just going to jump right into our today's segment. We're going to get to know Rudo a little bit more and learn about her immigrant journey into Canada. So Rudo, you go ahead, tell us where you're from, how you ended up coming into Canada. Let's just get to know you a little better.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. So I'm originally from Zimbabwe, part of Southern Africa. And how I ended up here, I left Zimbabwe when I was 18 years old. Moved to United Kingdom. And whilst I was there, I ended up doing my nursing training over there. And then worked a little bit as a psychiatric nurse in England for a few years. And then later on moved to Canada, where I landed in Vancouver. And then my journey over there has been just discovering Canada, different provinces. And here I am.
Wow, how many provinces have you visited?
You're going to make me count now. I lived in Ontario, lived in Winnipeg or Manitoba, then now in Alberta and BC, so 5 or 4.
Wow. I've only been in Ontario and BC. Where's your favorite province so far?
Oh, you know what? It's still BC.
I bet I know why.
Exactly, you know why. The weather.
Definitely the weather. It's what keeps us all here.
Yeah, I always tell people there's a reason why our license plate says beautiful British Columbia, because literally you can go from east to west and find no other place like BC. I know so many people that moved as far east and slowly tricking their way back to the west.
Yep.
Wow. So that's so awesome that you've been able to see so much of Canada since you've arrived. It's one of my goals one of these years is to actually go through all 10 provinces at least, if not the territories. Just maybe do the train across or just drive across and stop in like little places, because I've been here most of my life, but I've only seen like maybe 2 or 3 cities in total, which is so weird, I think.
Oh, you definitely have to take that train ride. That'd be really beautiful.
Or just do a cross-country road trip. That'd be so fun.
It'd take forever.
Yeah. I was like, who's going to drive?
Jessica drive.
Hey, it's only like literally 2 days. It's only 2 days. I've done it all the way to Niagara Falls, and it took 2 days. Like, you got to have somebody that's a good driver too. And somebody that you can tolerate.
Yeah, that's the thing with road trips. You got to make it to the end. Well, that's so wonderful. I'm glad we got to learn a little bit more. When you immigrated here, did you immigrate just with yourself or with your family? I know you said you moved to the UK when you were small. So when you finally decided to make the decision to Canada, was it just you?
No, it was with my sisters, but they moved first. 2 of my younger sisters, they moved first, but they moved to Ontario. So I ended up going to BC because I did psychiatric nursing, and I couldn't work in Ontario as a psychiatric nurse. So I couldn't move there with them. So we were separated. I came and lived in BC as soon as I arrived.
What was that process like, having to navigate it by yourself instead of like with your sisters who came ahead of you?
Well, it pretty much was not too hard. Because when I was in England, I was the first one to get to England too before them. So I was able to navigate that. So when I landed here, it was almost kind of similar, right? Trying to figure out my way around. It was a funny, interesting way, because when I arrived in BC, you know, when you look up on the map to say, oh, I want to live in downtown, this is going to be nice. That's where you're going to get a nice place, right, in downtown Vancouver. So I found a place online. Little did I know, this place was on Hastings area.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
That was a shock.
Big shock.
I'm laughing because I know this story.
So tell us more about that. For most people who haven't visited Vancouver, they don't know what Hastings is. So to think that you're coming to beautiful downtown Vancouver, right by the water, and then you end up on Hastings, that's not only a culture shock, that's a life shock.
So Hastings is the area where you have a lot of people who use substances hang around it, right? I know over the years they've done a good job to clean it up, but back then you'd see a lot of like syringes, all these drug paraphernalia things hanging on the bus stops, right? So and then you have people like, breaking into your place because they're looking for something to sell, right? So that they can feed their habits, right? So it wasn't one of those most safe areas to arrive as an immigrant. But when you don't know the place, you don't know what you're getting into, right? Yeah. So that was one of those things you'd be like, oh, I'm finding a reasonable priced place, but that comes with the surprises in that area too.
That comes with some things to deal with, let's say.
Yeah, it's really better to always try to see if you can find somebody that lives in the city that can maybe go and check out that area for you. And then, oh my goodness. So like when you moved here, did you leave anybody behind? You said you had your two older sisters or younger sisters. Went ahead before you. Were there any family members that you left behind or significant others?
So around that time, I was in a relationship. So I left my then boyfriend, over there with hopes that he would follow later on as well. So which was kind of challenging, right? Because you have to do now the long distance relationship, and that can bring its own challenges as well, right? So it can be really, really tough when you're moving as an immigrant, right? Because you have those relationships you're leaving behind with hopes of making a new life where you're going, right? But at the same time, hoping all that will carry over when they move as well. But it's sometimes, it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm just curious though, because I'm not sure if you touched up on it earlier on, but like, what was the whole reason for you wanting to relocate into the UK and then Canada after?
So for UK, when I left, it was mainly to just make a better life for myself, right? So my mom had found one of her cousins who was willing to take me on, right, to bring me to England. And then after that, go into nursing as a way of, that was what everyone else was doing, going to nursing as soon as they got to England. Yeah. And it was much easier when I moved to England at that time because they had a program where they actually pay you to become a nurse. They pay your education. They actually give you money for living and all that. So a lot of immigrants were going into that, right? Because that's the least most, easy path, right? So a lot of people end up being nurses. And then after I finished up my degree, I got my little sister to join the youngest one. The other one came in between when I was doing my nursing, and then she got married and was living with her husband. And then when my youngest came for the graduation, I was like, oh, she's only 16, maybe, it'd be better for her to go to school here, right? But by the time she came, things had tightened up in the UK because that was now post the 9/11. So immigration policies had changed. They made things really, really hard for people to stay. So for me, that's when I decided, okay, let's move to Canada. So for us, my dad used to live in Canada before we were even born. So we were born to a Canadian citizen. So we already have that citizenship. So it was way much easier for us to say, hey, why not just get our citizenship? So we got our citizenship also S.2 in England. And then we did it because of my young sister. I hope she gets to hear this. We did all this for you. Just so you know.
Just so you know.
We thought at that time, because she was only 16, so it wasn't fair for her to stay in England without any papers, right? For a 16-year-old, and what would your life be like, right? So that's when we decided, okay, we have the citizenship in Canada to be much easier. Why not just move over there so that she can be able to go to school and make a life for herself? And because I was still able to work as a nurse here in Canada, right? So I thought it would be easy to find a job as a nurse here. And that's how we ended up moving to Canada.
Right on.
That's really interesting that the process for you was a lot easier. Like you didn't have to jump through too many of the hurdles that most people who are planning to come to Canada especially post all the things, 9/11, the pandemic, everything, all the hurdles everybody has to like consider now when immigrating, I guess, anywhere. So that process made it, I guess, easier for you to know the life you're going to be expecting here, right?
Definitely a blessing, because when I hear other people's stories, the struggles they go through to just get here, that whole process, it makes me realize, what a blessing it has been, right, for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your ability to come to Canada already as a nurse, did you have to jump through the hurdle of like being retested or recertified through the programs here in Canada for you to continue practicing?
Yeah, I had to do that. I had to sit down and do the whole big test. It was almost a whole day of doing the nursing registration, right, exam, and then be able to convert that registration to Canadian one. And yeah, so lucky enough, I was able to pass the first trial. And then I
Oh,
was able
good
to get,
job.
because that can be a big challenge, right? Because people end up failing it and then repeat. And then sometimes they get that challenge of like, okay, should I keep on trying or should I just get any other job, right? And end up
Yeah.
being stuck just working at other jobs because they got bills and families to feed, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was thinking. Most people give up because like that retest. And my sister-in-law just took her nursing. She just graduated and like she was so nervous. She knows she's so smart and she can do it, but she was still so nervous after that test because you don't know it's so long. So congrats on being able to do it right away.
Oh yeah, thanks.
So let's switch gears, because now you're talking about, we want to make sure that we are able to kind of give our listeners a good kind of perspective as to who you are and how you got onto from working as a nurse into the entrepreneurial route. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about how or what even sparked that thought or idea, and just let us know a little bit about your journey through that, and whatever advice you can share.
So working as a nurse, how I enjoy working as a nurse. Like right now, I'm working as a mental health therapist. But in that whole process of helping other people, I also had that whole, urge to do something for myself, right? Having a business. Who doesn't want to have a business? Because you'd be like, yeah, in the land of opportunities, why not create something for yourself, right? So that's when I was like, okay, at the beginning, I was a little bit scared, and also being, having those fears and excuses to say, oh, what kind of a job, business can I start? Am I going to be able to do that? I'm a single mom. Do I have the time to do all that? I always looked for all these excuses. I call them excuses not to do anything, right? But eventually, after having so many friends and families who were, going out there, starting all these businesses, but not really, really putting all the effort in the business, I decided, okay, the main reason why they're not getting that much success was they were not promoting themselves. So my first real business I started off was doing a Entrepreneur Small Business Network, which was a network to get all the entrepreneurs to come together, to network with other people, and also to showcase their products and services so that they get to be known out there and also get customers. So that was my first introduction to real entrepreneurship and actually did something. So I did a lot of events with that and had so much fun with that. And with also that, it also comes a lot of challenges with time and, because I have to always drag all my equipment to these locations, set up and, still around that time, I still had small kids, right? You always wanted to have them. So this is when I end up getting this introduction to online world. And I was like, oh, I can do all this and still do it from my house. I don't have to leave. I don't have to set up anything anyway.
Sign me up.
Exactly. So from doing that events, I end up going to the online world where helping other small businesses and entrepreneurs to market themselves and start their online businesses. And this has been so amazing, so wonderful, and I really enjoy it. And through that whole process, I even wrote a book called Enough Excuses, because I was the queen of excuses. Time to start your own business. So basically trying to just encourage people not to let the same limitations that I was putting on myself to putting on themselves to stop them from, starting their business or venturing into that entrepreneurship journey themselves. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
We'll have to get that link. Can we get your book online? I need to read that ASAP.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. You can just click Rudo Dube.
Okay, well,
On
definitely
Amazon you
put
get
that
it.
resource in our links below as well, because I'm sure there's many of us who are in that same boat thinking, man, how do we get started? When can we get started? Do we have enough to get started? So it's interesting, like most fears are similar for most people of like, can I do it? Will I make it? You know, but then just getting over that hurdle. How were you able to like finally say, okay, enough is enough? I'm going to do this.
I had to come to the point and say, what is the worst thing going to happen? What is the worst thing going to happen? People are going to say no? Okay. Even if I don't try, I already given myself that no already. So why not? I just go ahead and push myself out there and get comfortable with hearing those no's. If it means no, it doesn't mean no right now. Maybe later on you might be able to do it. So you can come back again, right? Yeah. So I think most times people are so afraid of judgment, right? You just have to let go of all those fears. You have to let go of all those limitations you're putting on yourself. Because for the most part, which I've found out is just me limiting myself. Because when I do that, I was like, oh, that wasn't bad anymore. That wasn't bad. What? If it fails, then what? That wasn't that bad. You start another one.
So your confidence just got better and better.
Oh my gosh, it gets better and better and better. The more you do it, the more you get comfortable. Right now, I've got nurses, but because I was able to start one, now I'm just opening one left, right, and center. I'm like, oh, okay, this is easy. Just do it, right?
Yeah. Experience, right? With experience comes knowledge, and then you know what? You're just like you just fly like a little bird because you know you've already done it the first time. You failed. What was it? Failed forward. There's the Brene Brown quote. I might be saying it wrong, but you fail forward, right? And then you just get up and then you just keep on going. And you know, once you get it that first time, you just go. Now, okay, so you are what? You are a single mom. You have multiple businesses. You also have a daytime, full-time job. And I mean, let me know or let our listeners know what you do for self-care. Like, what do you do for Rudo time?
For Rudo time. Ooh,
if there is
Rudo
any.
Time? Well, for self-care, I love to just relax and just, I always say everything. Every time when I have a little bit of time, I want to sleep.
Imagine.
Because as you said, I have all this, I've got a full-time job, being a full-time mom, all this business, right? Like it requires so much of your energy, right? So each time I'm like, as much as I get any spare time, I'll try to get some sleep, because sleep is really important because you need to rejuvenate your mind and your body to rest so that you have more energy to be able to do that. And also finding time to just enjoy time with your family. That's me time too, right? Because I'm squeezing it in with the kids as well. Go to the movies, go for even simple things like going for rides. We like to drive around endlessly because I just enjoy being on the road.
It's actually nice, very calming.
It is. And you get to see different places. You never know, nice neighborhoods where you might, be your future dream home might be, that kind of stuff, right? I enjoy doing that, just going around and looking at things and just taking time to just, spending time by myself, close the door and be like, hey, it's me time right now. Don't disturb me.
Well, that's really great to know that at least you still take that time for reflecting, spending time with your family, taking care of yourself. And I'm still wrapping my mind about how you've managed to fit all that in. I'm just trying to get, I just became a mom. So like just trying to manage my day, it's been something else. I want to be like you when I grow up, like honestly. I'm looking to you.
Once you do something that you enjoy, it doesn't feel like work because you're enjoying it. It's almost like it's fun, right? So it doesn't feel like work and, something that you dread, right? And just making sure that you have the systems in place, right? Because the one thing I love about online business, you can have systems in place. You can automate most of the processes in your business. That way you're not having to do them manually yourself and taking that time, right? It actually frees up some of your time if you set up all your systems in place. Like if it's social media postings, all of that, it's all automated. I just sit down in one day, create all my content, schedule it out, and then it's posting. I had one of my colleagues who came to me one time. He's like, oh, Rhoda, I saw your post on Facebook and all this stuff. I thought, aren't you working? I should do this. I'm like, you see me working? Do you see me working? you see me working, right? It's because it's already automated. Because she was wondering, how am I creating this video and at work and all this stuff? I'm like, it's already automated. It's already being set. It's scheduled out to post on 12 noon or whatever time, right? I don't have to physically being the one to do it, but it's all automation. And she's like, oh, wow, that's amazing. So I'm like, oh.
I think that's why we're all kind of work hard to be our own bosses, because having to answer these kind of questions. So no, it's really good when you have like processes in place and you're able to delegate like work. That's always something that I always say. You know, it's good to know the technical aspect of your company from ground up, but as you develop and as you grow and as you scale up, it's good to add on, if you can, hire people to basically delegate the work, so you as the business owner can focus on other more pressing or important things. And then again, as you keep growing, you just bring in more people, and then you keep rising and scaling up. So yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you so much for inspiring me to do better.
To wrap up everything, if people want to get in contact with you, partner with you, and link up, what are some of your handles or contact information that listeners would love to have and engage with you?
So you can get in contact with me on Instagram at limitlesscore1, and on Facebook it's just limitlesscore, and also on YouTube you can check out some of my content there, and it's Rudo Dube, Rudo, then Dube, Dube.
And then for your book?
And for that book, it's going to be on Amazon, so you can just type my name, Rudo Dube, Rudo, Dube, and it's Enough Excuses.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Rudo.
100%. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey with us and inspiring us to really get moving and not sit on our dreams.
Enough excuses.
Yes, we leave all those excuses behind. Well, thank you so much for having me and for this platform. It's an amazing platform, giving us a chance to share our journey, our different journeys, beautiful journeys, and the opportunities that Canada provides us. So thank you so much.
Well, this has been Jess and Jem on the Immigrant Take with Rudo Dube here, learning and sharing about her immigrant journey of becoming from a psych nurse to an entrepreneur and helping others do the same. So follow her. We'll put all of her handles in our links down below. Grab her book, just like I'm going to do, and not have any excuses. Again, such a delight to have you today. We'll catch you next time on the Immigrant Take.